Hey there, it's Mrs. Smith, and I'm reading Indians of the Oaks by Melicent. This is Part 2, Chapter 10, Tub Show Quiddle, the Pignon Game. The forest was echoing with the laughter of the Indians when little Was awoke. Young women chatted gaily together in groups, old women squatted on the earth in a wide ring, and children darted among the trees. Young men and boys, and a few old men, were gathering together in a circle, their long hair whirling in a breeze. Their bodies were brightly painted. Something seems to be turning over in the hearts of the young men this morning, said little Was to her mother. You are right, said her mother. They are going to play Tub Show Quiddle, the pignon game. We will take a little while and watch them. I see that the other women are not going yet to work. The pignon game? Was had never heard of this game. Was had heard of this game many times, but she had never seen it. She climbed up a tree so that she could have a better view. Other children scrambled up beside her and hugged the branches like little bears. The Indian game of dart and ring. The game that is played only in the Pignon country. The game that is played only with the materials that grow there. The Pignon game. An Indian with a feather tied to his hair was building a fire at the foot of a slanting rock. Little Indian boys were gathering pitch from the Pignon trees. The pitch shone in the sun like golden beads. When the fire had heated the rock, the Indian brushed away the burning twigs and dug a little basin at the foot of it. Then the young Indians ran to the rock with their golden pitch and laid the pitch on top of it. With the burning torch, they set the pitch on fire. Now the pitch began to melt and slowly run down in thick rolls. The Indian with the feather in his hair stuck a stiff yucca leaf to the rolling pitch and wrapped the pitch around it. What the leaf did not catch fell into the basin. As the golden pitch ran down the rock, the Indians all sang together. Their happy voices rang gaily through the forest. The chickadee took up the thread of the song and sang good rolls in his chickadee language. The brown towhee in the dark pinon branches echoed good rolls in his towhee language. All of the forest seemed to be singing. Wouldn't the pitch run down if they didn't sing the song? Asked little Was of an older girl who clung on a bough beside her. Oh, never, never! Cried the older girl. Why don't they melt all the pitch why don't they melt all the pitch in an olla? Asked Was. And get an olla so stuck that it's no good for cooking? Scolded her tree companion. Now, while another Indian began turning the yucca leaf for him, the young Indian with the feather in his hair brought forth a young hawk that he had killed with his bow and arrow. He pulled the feathers out of the wing and tail. All of the young men rushed over to him and each grabbed a feather. The little fellows couldn't run and grab so fast. They didn't have any feathers, so they dashed around until they found some barley beards, tall grasses that looked like feathers. Then each man and boy sharpened a stick on a rock and stuck a pointed end of the stick into the hollow quill of the feather. The little feathers tied their grasses, or the little fellows, I'm sorry, the little fellows tied their grasses to their sticks with fiber. Then each one dipped the end of their stick into the pitch around the yucca leaf. They spat on their hands and rolled the pitch into a nice round ball. Then they rolled the ball in the dust so that it wouldn't stick to everything. The ball was as big as a hawk's egg. Now each had a dart about 10 inches in length with a long feather at one end and a ball of pitch at the other. But the darts alone were not enough for playing the pignon game, so they all made rings out of twigs. The rings were about 3 inches across. The Indian with the feather made the best ring. He was a coast Indian. He wore a necklace of shells. All the Indian men and boys lined up in a row. The coast Indian tossed his ring away from him, and it landed on the ground. One by one, the Indians threw their darts at the ring. The brother of the Yuma cousin threw his dart nearest the ring, so he became the ring man. He was going to hold the ring. He kept one of the darts for himself, and the other Indians picked up the darts that had been thrown. Now the brother of the Yuma cousin stood apart from his fellows and held the ring in his hand. He was very tall, with his long hair twisted in tiny rolls. His face was tattooed in dark blue. He had a circle on his forehead and stripes on his chin. His broad chest was painted in huge circles and dots of white. His arms were longer than the arms of the Kumeyaay. His body shone with sweat. Was thought him very handsome indeed. One of One by one, the other Indians threw their darts into the air. The feathered shaft looked like a flying bird. The golden ball of pitch shone in the sun. As the Yuma stood there boldly, with his feet far apart, he caught every dart in his ring. Sometimes the hard ball of the pitch struck him on the knuckles, but he didn't move a muscle. As he caught the dart, he let the ring and dart fall to the ground. If the dart fell out of the ring as the ring was falling, he could not keep his place as ringman. I don't see how he can catch every one, whispered little Wasp to her tree companion. Hush, hush! Now you have given him bad luck. He's losing. Just at that second, a dart fell out of the Yuma's ring as the ring was falling. The Yuma brother was no longer the ringman. He gathered up all the darts at his feet. He kept one dart and started to throw the others back to the Indians. Suddenly, he raised his arms as if he were going to throw them in their faces, and then he tossed them over his shoulder. The young men and the old men almost fell over one another with their uh, in their speed to pick them up. The little boys dashed on the heels of the young man. What a scramble! One little fellow got pushed out of the way. He didn't even find one dart. He lay on the ground under a pine tree and began to sob. And as he sobbed, he felt something sticky touch his cheek. He was lying right on a dart. It was feathered with barley grass. It was his own dart. He grabbed it and rushed back to play. The Yuma brother tossed the ring away from him. The Indian again threw the darts toward the ring as it lay on the ground. Another Indian won the place of the ringman, and so the game went on. The women could wait no longer. They had work to do. So they took up their baskets and nets and started for the thickest part of the grove. Wasp climbed down the tree and ran over to her camp to fetch her little basket. Oh, I wish I were a boy instead of a girl, she thought. Boys have such fun. All right. I hope you enjoyed chapter 10. Join me next time for chapter 11, which is called The Cherry Bush. Bye bye.